Okay, so let's have a look at ICSLand into more details now. So the game is provided in the fairly simple plastic box. So we're going to unpack it and look at it more in detail. There we go. So inside the box, you will see first what is called the IC packet. So when the game starts, the first thing we're going to do is select an incident commander, and you will receive this packet. And we'll have a look at the content of the packet a little later on. You have a pouch that includes the scenario. So the scenario is in form of cards. We're going to see how those cards are being used. You also have a tray as well, which is fairly convenient to put the cards once they have been processed during the game. You have cards here, which are the field action cards. We're going to look into details later on. They will be used by operations. Post-it notes. There are many places where you will be tempted to write things on the game. Now it's cardboard and a lot of sweat, so you don't want anyone to write on anything. So use post-it note and stick them to the game if needed. There are tokens. We're going to be talking about tokens later on in a minute as well. So let's look at the board now. So we're going to take the box out of the way and unpack the boards. Here we go. So that's the second one. I'm going to put them in place. And here is the first one. So the game is designed, as I explained in the introduction, to teach people how to be the executives, so the chiefs in an incident command system. So you have sections for each of these chiefs. So here is the IC. So you can see that you have the chief name here on this element, on this box here, and you have the scribe name here. At the left side of the IC, you have the planning chief, which is also an important function because planning documents everything that has been decided. So you have the chief name and the scribe name. In front of them, you have operations here, so where you have again the chief name and the scribe name, and you have logistic with the chief name and the scribe name. So please note that people are going to be sitting obviously spread around the table, but the four chiefs are assumed to be face to face and in the center, and the scribe are on the side because they are the ones that are going to document the stuff. Another set of individual you might have is the safety. Now the game can be played between ideally you need a minimum of 4 people, 1 for each chief, and usually we also have scribes, so that's 8 people, and you can have an additional safety officer. We don't really have a scenario today that would really benefit from having a scribe for the safety officer, so we could have 10 people, but the scenarios we have, that would be a stretch. Okay, so once you've put all the people in place, so the IC goes here, the planning chief here, the logistics chief, the operation chief, and their scribe all around. Let's start looking and paying attention at the game itself. So in the beginning, in the middle, you have the space for the map. So this is where you're going to start using the tokens here, where there are little magnets inside that you can take the map out of the IC packet. We will look more in details on the IC packet later on, but let me just take out the map right now. So you can take the map, if I can find it. There we go, and you will put the map here and use the little magnet to hold the map into place. Once you have this map, you can use the token to identify, where is the command post. If you're creating a medical area, or you have different marker here, which can be used for I-125 for incidents, H-125 for hazards, M for miscellaneous, T for teams. And it's very flexible. The team can do whatever they want with that. So that's the map area. The second very important element is what we call the event inbox here. So we said earlier that there is a scenario. So the scenario is this pouch. And I forgot to mention that, yes, you're going to have up to 10 people playing the board, but you also have a mentor or master of the game or facilitator. And that person is going to drive the game for the team. So you're going to have a card like this. So for example, this card here asks you, are you ready? Do you have defined your objective? Are you organized? And you drop the card here in the inbox. And once you drop the card here in the inbox, usually the IC or maybe the planning or the ops will take the card and look at the card and decide what needs to be done with that card. So that's the principal high level of the scenario. Now we said that there are also some additional cards, which are the field cards here, because as you've seen, there's only room in the game for the chief. So there's no people, real physical people that are going to do actions such a light search and rescue. So we simulate that by using those cards, and I will go more into the details in the next section of the video. But on this card, you're going to take personnel resources, which are going to be blue card. We're going to talk about that. Equipment and supply, which are going to be here. Put those cards and put this into the feed action. Now, once the mentor of the game saw that there's a feed action, there's probably going to be a card in the scenario that said, okay, so the team has returned and is bringing you a form completed, for instance. And at that time, the master of the game will take the card, say, okay, Ops, your team has returned, and here is the form. And Ops will have to figure out what to do with the different resources there. Okay, so that's the overall overview of the game itself. In a future video, we're going to look at much more of the different cards and what they mean and how they are used.